Okay, welcome back. We're going to take a look at dilating images using a slider. So far, we've looked at various transformations using GeoGebra. First, we looked at using images and mapping the corners of images to particular points on the plane. That helped us to distort pictures. Then we looked at reflecting images over a reflecting line using a reflection tool. We've looked at translating images using vectors. And most recently, we looked at rotations of images using a slider. Now we're going to use a slider to actually dilate images. And the slider is going to, we're going to use it to represent the scale factor of our dilation. So we're going to begin by inserting an image. Let's go ahead and do that. I think we'll use the third button from the right. And I'm going to pick the image of my son we talked about earlier. So here he is. And we're going to create a slider that will represent our scale factor. So go ahead and pick the slider tool. It's the second from the right. Let's click anywhere in the sketch. We're going to name this slider scale factor. We're going to let the scale factor range from -5 to 5 with an increment of 1. That's by default. And last time we let the slider represent an angle measure. This time we're letting it represent a number. And we're going to place another point somewhere near the image. This is going to be our center of dilation. And let's change the name of this point. We can do that by right-clicking on it. I'm control-clicking on it with my Mac. Pick Rename. Let's call this Center. Okay, next we're going to use the dilation tool. So in order to do this, we're going to once again go to the translation toolbox right here. Notice there's reflection, rotation. We're going to pick the dilate option, and it says dilate object from point by factor. The pop-up help says that we're going to select the object to dilate. Then we're going to click on the center point, and then we're going to enter the scale factor. So I'm going to begin by clicking on the object I want to dilate, the center of the dilation right here. And the number is actually the value of scale factor. Go ahead and click OK. Now initially you might be saying to yourself, well, nothing happened. But in fact, by changing this value, look at that. Kids are initially interested in the fact that the picture appears to flip upside down. That's interesting. Now, I'd like to take this image, pick 1 prime, and let's change its properties as we've done in the past, and change the opacity to about 30% or so. So that's kind of neat. You can move the center around. Like so. One thing I like to do is take key points from the pre-image, say the corner of his mouth, the image. How about right here, his left ear, his left ear over here. Something that's kind of interesting, how about let's do his top of his head. Top of his head here. Now these are all approximate, but it's kind of interesting to draw lines through the point on the pre-image and the corresponding point on the image. I like to do this with my own students. What do you notice when you connect points on the pre-image, points on the image? I'm off ever so slightly here. Look at that, that's kind of intriguing. Could ask kids some questions about this. That's something to explore. You might also try combining two dilations and exploring when they're equivalent. Lots of things to be doing here. That's essentially dilations in a nutshell. So enjoy, and we'll talk to you again soon.